Welcome to Brea Talks, an insider's look into topics that affect your experiences in the city of Brea. Whether you live, work, or play here, we are bringing you the information you need to better understand your city. So now we invite you to listen in as Brea Talks.
Hello and welcome. I'm Dan Fenstermaker, and today Brea Talks Summer in the City. And no, I'm not referring to the 1966 hit song by the Lovin' Spoonful. We're talking about summer in the city of Brea, all the activities, events, and opportunities there are for family fun, along with what goes into putting on all these programs that are so loved by the community. On the topic of aquatics, sports, and classes, I had the opportunity to sit down with Billy Hutchinson. Billy works over at the Brea Community Center, where he is a community services supervisor. He's been with the city of Brea for 10 years and has an undergraduate's degree in kinesiology and a master's degree in public administration, both from Cal State Fullerton. Billy, thanks for being here, man.
Yeah, you got it. Thanks for having me.
Let's jump right into it. Summer for any city, especially Brea, is it's a monster.
It's crazy.
Kids are out of school. Parents are looking for things for their kids to do.
Yeah.
Let's talk about staffing.
Yeah.
Off the bat here, huge influx of staff.
Yes.
That we take on during the summer. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, especially in our aquatics program. Over the past few years, I've tried to structure our summer sports areas in a little different way, just so we don't have to do these huge recruitments every summer. Mm-hmm. But we can't avoid that with our aquatics. Mm-hmm. We have upwards of 35, 36 employees alone in aquatics, and they're all part-time and they're all intermittent, so they're all seasonal people. And so it's difficult to, schedule them and stay on top of them. And, each year we have to do a recruitment, and that stuff ends up, it has to happen so early in the year.
Sure.
That we're already done with that. You know what I mean? So we're done. We've already done our recruitments. But we have to start reaching out to these folks January, February, just to gauge their, availability, see if they're going to be coming back for the summer.
Sure.
99% of our staff, they're, high school age, college age people. So they,
not all schools start at the same time when they're at the summer.
Who knows where they're going to be, the next summer? Who knows?
Right.
And so, we end up pulling these recruitments, and we brought on upwards of, probably 9 or 10 new people just this summer alone. So, and I still keep getting emails of people, hey, I want to work the plunge. Sorry, you missed the deadline, but, it's definitely a beast. And, the recruitment process just, it's a long process. So it takes a while. So we have to get on that way ahead of time. And, you mentioned summer's a beast, but once summer starts, it's sit back and just and then just watch.
Set it and forget it.
Yeah, exactly. The hardest part is January through May. Yeah. That's the setup and the background and all that stuff, and getting people on board and
sure.
and gearing up for it.
Because they're young people as well. They want to enjoy their summer. So
yeah,
you
exactly.
Gotta be, in terms of scheduling
exactly.
them, not to mention colleges, high schools, mm-hmm. they don't end at the same time. Even high schools now, we're seeing a huge difference district to district in terms of when they're done and when they start. School's starting sooner, in August, and so obviously over the last 10 to 15 years, a huge shift in terms of summer programming to cater to the needs of both kids in school and kids that and the scheduling of kids that should be in school.
Yeah, exactly. It's tough.
Let's talk about their you mentioned their that January to, would you say May is
the big push.
The push and the build up. Is that where is that any certifications that they might need?
So especially with our aquatics folks, every single one of our aquatic staff, 35, I think 36 of them, they're all lifeguards. And so they're all trained as a lifeguard. They all undergo the lifeguard certification process. And then a number of them also undergo what's called a WSI training. It's water safety instructor training. And so they all go through that. We provide that for them. So if they already have it from last year, or if they just need to recertify, that's easy, not a huge process. But all those new folks, they come on, they get certified through our program, and they do all that stuff. There's also, CPR and first aid certifications that they all go through. All of our part-time staff will eventually have the opportunity to go through a CPR or first aid kind of training. All of our new hires that come on for like sports or, summer day camp, things like that. It's not required to be CPR certified or first aid certified. However, we do offer those certifications at least once a year for all of our staff. And so if they're returning, they're definitely going to be CPR certified or first aid certified. So you can assume at any point in time during the year, the staff working, whatever program, like a vast majority of them are going to be CPR certified or first aid certified. It's just like you would almost consider aquatics a completely different beast than like our sports and day camp stuff.
Right.
And like our aquatics, they're all definitely going to be recertified every single year. Every single person is going to be CPR, first aid certified, lifeguard certified, water safety instructor certified, all these different certifications for water safety instructor stuff. And, it's a pretty in-depth process for the aquatics trainings.
No, that's great though.
Yeah.
I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit more about aquatics.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the plunge.
Yeah.
Let's talk about some
The plunge
fun.
is a cool place, man.
It is.
It's really cool.
It is. Do we know when the plunge was completed?
Yeah. So it's going to hit its 100-year birthday this decade. It was built in 1929. So it's, gosh, what is that? 94 years old or something.
And going
like that.
strong.
Yeah.
And she's never looked better.
Yeah, exactly. It's a cool place. It's still got that really kind of classic vibe. Gives you that just like summer Sandlot vibe.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
Absolutely. It's super fun. What a great place to kind of spend your days during the summer.
Definitely. It's always packed.
Yeah.
That's great to see.
It's jamming there for sure.
It's big too.
It's huge. There's a little pool and a like for little kids, and then a ginormous pool with like a huge diving board. Yeah. It's really fun. Yeah.
Yeah, my kid was terrified of that thing for the first couple of years, but now he can't get enough of it.
Now, trivia. How many gallons do you think it is, Dan?
Gosh, okay. So I have owned a pool.
Okay.
And it was not that big. And I would say that if I was to guess, we'll just go with it around 100,000 gallons.
It's a good guess. I've been quizzing people around today to see what they think, and I've got 20,000, 40,000. It's 167,500 gallons. Yeah, it's huge. A lot of water.
How deep is it?
That's a good question. I don't know that answer.
Not deep enough for a huge diving board.
It's the deep end is certainly deep enough for to accommodate diving and things like that. And then there's a shallow end. I wouldn't say that it's like
3 feet, 3.5 feet.
Probably not that deep, or not that shallow. Excuse me.
Okay.
I would say probably like 4 or 5 feet, and then layers like the separate kind of. You could call it the kiddie pool.
The kiddie pool, yeah,
something like that.
Sure.
That's much shallower. That's probably like only 3 feet deep at the deepest.
Okay.
So, but I was gonna try to do the math.
Yeah.
It's shallow over here. It's deep over here. It's 10 feet, 4 feet. Do the math. I just Googled it and found it. So.
Awesome. Okay, so back to staff, specifically regarding the plunge and lifeguards. How many lifeguards do we have? Like, how many lifeguards do we have on staff?
Sure. So, like I said, every single one of our plunge employees is a certified lifeguard. So every single one of them. We have 3 separate, I don't know what you want to call it, 3 separate levels of staff. We have our lifeguard, a swim instructor, and then our senior guards. They're all lifeguards. It's just some may not teach classes. Some may just be lifeguard. So we have 36 lifeguards. Everyone who is hired has to be lifeguard certified. Those who will teach the classes will end up going through the water safety instructor training and stuff like that. But basically, if you want to know, like, kind of how many people are there at one time, or like
so like on
what a day looks
what
like.
a shift looks like.
Yeah, so we have kind of like morning shifts and evening shifts, and then there's what we call rec swim right in between, and you can either kind of go start in the morning and overlap with the rec swim, or start with the rec swim and overlap into the evening shift. But basically, morning and evening shifts have 7 instructors in the water, 2 lifeguards on deck, and with 1 instructor and 1 lifeguard in the office. So there's 11 staff at any given moment at the plunge. So there's every 30 minutes or so, an instructor will get a break, and the lifeguards rotating their stations every 15 minutes. During the rec swim, that little part in the middle of the day in between morning lessons and evening lessons, we have anywhere from 6 to 7 lifeguards on deck, and 1 in the office, and depending on the capacity and stuff we're expecting. Sometimes we have, full-on summer camps and things come in and participate during the rec swim, and so there could be hundreds of kids there at the plunge at one time. So just depends on how many people we have during that rec swim moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Morning classes, evening classes all day.
Classes all day.
You guys have
classes all day. Kind of changes depending on the day, but it's constant. It's a constant, roll of lessons.
It's a huge demand.
Yeah.
And having a city-owned pool facility with I know other neighboring cities, especially the one that I grew up in, utilize high school swimming pools and whatnot. We're fortunate enough here to own our own pool where we have our lessons run completely out of our own facility.
Yeah.
And it's awesome. I going out there and seeing, just it's so busy.
Yeah, we have tons of classes, right? So we have swim classes ranging from parenting classes, mom or dad or guardian, whoever in the pool with their child, assisting in the actual lesson, all the way up to what we call level 5, which would basically be like pre-swim team classes. So we have our parenting and then levels 1 through 5. So that's 6 different levels of actual swim lessons. We also offer adult learn to swim classes as well for ages 14 and up. Then we also offer 2 classes that are not technically learning to swim classes. They're aqua aerobics, and we have our junior lifeguarding program as well.
When can we expect your synchronized swimming class?
You know what?
To enter the...
Dan, when are
signups? And when are signups?
Yeah, we unfortunately do not offer synchronized swimming classes.
Yet.
Sorry.
Yet. Okay.
To be seen.
To be continued. Yeah. To be continued on that. Keep tuning into Brea Talks for further developments on the possibilities of that. Okay, so registration right around the corner. So
coming up.
Some registration's already begun for summer stuff, but not swim yet.
Yeah. So most of our like non-aquatic stuff is all open, ready for registration. But our aquatics program, it's so massive that we can't just kind of open it. We have to offer it in a certain way. So on May 22nd, 9 a.m., residents of Brea can register. All the registration happens online at brearec.com. Highly recommend you get out there, go, get logged into your system, register, get everybody that you want to register into the system ready to go. Because on May 22nd, it's going to be mad dash to get your class. For non-Brea residents, it opens up May 30th, 9 a.m. as well, also on brearec.com. If you're a Brea resident, you can come into the community center and register in person if you wanted to, but still, that's after 9 a.m. On May 22nd for residents.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And so I'm a parent.
Yeah.
And I know where my kid belongs.
Yeah.
But what if I don't?
We have those 6 levels, right?
Yeah.
So where do they go?
Yeah. Is my kid going to be, pre-swim team, or is he still?
Yeah. It's hard to know. It's hard to know. There's a couple. One of the biggest things that we recommend is actually visiting our plunge open house. Last year we offered this kind of event for the first time. It ended up being such a great event. People came and conducted swim tests, so we could kind of gauge where they were, going to be, which level the parents should expect to sign up for. And then we also kind of show them how to register online too.
No.
So this year we're going to hold our open house on May 6th.
It's coming up.
Yeah, coming up from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. That's a Saturday. However, this year It's not looking like we're going to have quite enough staff for actual swim tests, but we're going to be there to answer all of your questions. Ivan, our plunge manager, will be there. A couple other plunge staff will be there. We'll be able to be there to help you, get registered for, on BreaRec.com to get ready for registration. But we are going to be able to offer swim tests on May 6th. We'll be able to tell you what day we're going to be able to offer those things.
Oh,
so
okay.
If
Stay tuned for that.
not on May 6th, it will be, at some point down the road before registration begins.
Got it.
Obviously, you want to know where you're going to be at
Sure.
before registration starts.
Sure.
But like a couple things we can talk about still is basically, if you've been in our program before, if you've passed a level, you get to go to the next level.
Okay.
That's kind of how it goes across the board. However, for the Parent and Me and levels 1 and 2, that's simply like by age.
Okay.
So they're all beginner level classes. Level 1 is basically for, I think, 2.5 to 4.5 years old. So if you're in that age group, that's where you're going to start.
Okay.
And if you're over 4.5 and you're still a beginner, even if you have 0 experience, level 2.
Got it.
That's where you're going to be. So those first couple levels are basically just delineated by age.
Okay.
And levels 3, 4, and 5 are a little different. Level 3, if you pass level 2, you can obviously take level 3. A couple things if you want me to get specific about some of the requirements. I can get into that, but basically, to get into level 3, they need to be able to swim on their fronts and backs across the width of the pool. That class specifically is held in the deep end, so that's something to note. Parents will definitely want to know that. Level 4, obviously, if you pass level 3, you're in, but you can also take the test, and you need to learn side breathing, backstroke, and elementary backstroke. Level 5. You have to pass level 4. There's no other. You can't test in level 5. You have to take level 4 and pass that to get into level 5. And one thing to note, to take the junior lifeguarding class, you have to pass level 5 as well in our program. So
let's just say, for example, that you can't make the test before registration, and you register for a class
that's a great question.
Either too advanced for you or not advanced enough.
Yes.
I mean, I understand that with ratios of
we have
students
limits.
to
we have limits,
students
right?
to constructors
So on the first day, we conduct swim tests for everyone in the class to make sure that they belong in that class. If you pass the swim test, then you stay in the class. If you don't pass the swim test and there's a spot open, same time in the level beneath your current level, boom, we'll just put you in that class. If there's no availability anywhere, we'll give you a refund.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll give you a refund because obviously, we're not going to, make you take a class that you're not ready for. It's unfortunate that there isn't a spot available in the lower level. There might be a different time or something we can put you in. We'll certainly work with you and, do the best we can to get you into a class.
Sure.
But if there's nothing available, then we'll get you that refund. That's why we highly recommend going to that open house.
Sure.
So make sure that way on, May 22nd, when you go to BreaRec.com and you register, that you get your spot you need.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about other classes and programs. You said that there is already classes and programs are already available for registration as we speak.
Yeah. So I'll go into my area first. My area is the aquatics and the athletics. And so we have our summer youth sports programs. We've got baseball and soccer this summer, as we do every summer. Baseball is, I believe, Tuesdays and Thursdays in the mornings, and soccer is Monday and Wednesdays in the mornings. You can participate in either one of those days or both. We have previously offered volleyball. We're not going to be offering volleyball this summer. Instead, we're going to be offering a different program, which I'm super excited about. We're calling it the Youth Summer Games. It's a brand new program where we feature a different activity each week. It's 7 weeks long.
Oh, wow.
Along with our baseball and soccer, those are also 7 weeks. But basically, the summer games, we're going to pick a different game to play each week. That includes kickball, wacko, capture the flag, flag football, relay races. And then on the 6th week, we can kind of ask the kids, hey, what do you guys want to play? Which was your favorite day? We'll do that one again. And then on the last day, we call that water day. We're going to set up a huge like a slip and slide water slide down one of the hills at Tamarack Park and just have a blast and enjoy summertime. So that's super, super excited for that program. It's already got a lot of people registered. So highly recommend.
Still spots available?
Yeah, still spots available, but highly recommend folks get out there. That's for kids ages 6 to 13.
Okay.
Just to note. Yeah. Sorry, Dan, you cannot participate.
Sorry, I'm still holding out for synchronized swimming.
That's right. We'll wait for that. Also, just to plug my own stuff, we also have adult sports that happen throughout the year. We've got adult basketball leagues Sunday and Thursday evenings. We've got co-ed softball on Monday nights, women's volleyball league, co-ed volleyball league that happen year round.
Oh.
Super fun stuff.
Awesome.
Super, super fun.
All right.
Yeah.
Check it out.
Yeah. And so other areas, we've got one of our folks, we have a lot of contract classes, we call them, where we contract with companies that put on camps, programs throughout the year. Summertime's a huge deal in this area. Heather Estrada recently took over this position. She wears many, many hats over at the community center, one of them being contract class coordinator. Since taking over that position, she's added 15 new instructors, which resulted in 100 new classes that we're offering.
Wow.
Some of those summer camps coming up, you can expect Rescue Robot Mystery Camp, BioBot Roller Coaster Camp, Summer of Art Camp, and a skateboarding camp that's actually going to be held at our newly renovated skate park. So that's going to be super awesome.
Sweet.
While in my area we are not offering volleyball this summer, there are some contract class volleyball programs, so that's fun too. Gymnastics and tennis classes and dance and art and music classes that we offer all year round as well through our contract classes. And encourage everybody to check out the Brea line or visit brearec.com. See everything we have to offer for this summer. We got a lot.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, definitely.
Billy, I really appreciate the time, brother.
Yeah, no problem. Happy to be here.
You sound like you're way too busy to be here talking to me.
Yeah, you know
So-
what? That's all right. We do what we do,
I appreciate it.
Yeah,
I
of course. You
appreciate the
got it,
time.
Dan.
All right, man.
No worries.
Take care.
Thanks.
Next, I got a chance to catch up with Kris Kataoka to talk about the arts here in the city of Brea, as well as some exciting events coming this summer. Kris has worked for the city of Brea for nearly 17 years in the Curtis Theater as a technician, technical director, and currently is the manager and artistic director. Kris,
Dan,
thanks for joining us today.
my pleasure.
Appreciate that.
I cut my vacation short just for you.
You know what, Kris? I believe that because you're that kind of guy.
Yeah.
And then you'd hold it over my head like that. I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
No, I really do appreciate you being here. And you are the manager, art director, extraordinaire, master of ceremonies for the Curtis Theater.
Yes, all of those hats at the same time.
All of those hats. You must have a big head. So.
I have a huge head.
I've got to know. Let's get right into so the Curtis Theater is your home. It's where you're not the Phantom of the Opera, but it is.
I have a cot in the back.
It is where you conduct most of your business throughout the day.
Mm-hmm.
Who is Curtis?
The Curtis Theater is named for Dr. Glenn Curtis, who was Brea's country doctor, as he was known from the mid-20s up until 1959 in the city of Brea. He was a doctor that was a patron of the arts, kind of a pillar of the community, involved in the city government, and just a good guy all around in the world of Brea. So in 1982, they named the theater, the newly opened theater. Theater opened in 1980 when the Civic and Cultural Center opened, and then shortly thereafter in 1982, they named the Curtis Theater after him.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
And how many seats does the Curtis?
The Curtis Theater has 199 seats.
199.
Just shy of 200.
If I brought a folding chair in, because if that bothered me, and I
Yeah.
brought a folding chair in, could I round it out to an even?
Technically, yeah. The back row on the ends is technically our handicap accessible seating.
Okay.
So there is room for 4 more seats there.
That's awesome.
But they were reserved for wheelchairs. But if we're not using them for that purpose, then absolutely we can get you a folding chair.
Okay, I appreciate that. Yes, no, definitely give them priority.
Mm-hmm.
Curtis Theater is always busy.
That's true.
There's stuff literally going on all day,
As we
almost
speak.
every
Yeah.
day. What are you doing here?
Yeah.
How many performances do you think on average occur throughout the year at the Curtis Theater?
That's if you break it down, we have about 55 shows this season. So our season is a curated season of self-produced shows and guest artists. In the 22-23 season, the current season, we have 55 shows. We also have a robust youth theater program. So they do about 36 shows a year. So
Wow.
two different shows with 36 performances. And then we have any number of things going on between our city events that we do. If we're doing lectures or talks or meetings or things like that. And then we'll do a lot of rentals. So and that's probably another 200 days of things going on there. So all total in a calendar year, we have about 300 days of things going on.
And you have time to take vacations.
I'm not personally there for all of them, just most of them.
You mentioned the theater season that you put together. How tough is that process of putting a theater season? Take me through that process.
Yeah, it's there's a lot to consider for sure. We try to do a nice balance of guest artists and things that we produce ourselves. We also take into account what the community wants and what ticket buyers are buying. So we definitely listen there, and we also try to keep an eye on making sure we're providing a diverse experience for theater goers and for performers alike. So there's any number of ways we can get things on the season. A lot of it's just things that we kind of always do, or with artists or agents that we've worked with so many times in the past that they have something new or something that worked for us a few years ago. Maybe we'll bring that back. That just happened. We just did yesterday and today the Beatles interactive Beatles experience, which we did about 6 years ago, and it sold out. So we said let's do that again, and they came back, and it was amazing. And then we have things that we local things that we do all the time, like the Christmas with the Alley Cats is in the season,
it's
just
huge.
about every season, and it keeps selling out. And so until people stop coming to it, we're going to keep that around, just because it's one of those traditional things that people love to do in the holiday season. And then we also have our Amplify program, which we just started last year, which is it's a curated forum for marginalized artists, where we put together an advisory board of local theater activists and aficionados and people who just want to have a voice in what we do, and then we accept submissions from mostly local artists that maybe from minority communities or people who have been otherwise marginalized or silenced historically. So they submit whether it's a play or one person show or some sort of musical thing or whatever. We'll take it and take a look at it. We'll give it to the board. They'll sift through everything, and then we'll make some selections and then give them a spot in our season.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that giving them a spot in the season gives them full access to our all of our tech capabilities. We advertise everything for them. It's truly part of the season, so it comes in the brochure and everything. So yeah,
that's very cool.
Yeah, it's we're very proud of it. We're in our second full year doing it, kind of in the middle of making some selections for next season right now. So that's definitely come together. But yeah, that's definitely another angle we approach selections.
That's great. Tell me about last month we discussed volunteering in the community. I know volunteering plays a big role in the Curtis Theater, making sure that it's running. Talk to me about staff members you got working there, and then also how important the volunteer effort is there in the theater.
They're all crucial. Staff members, we have myself as kind of overseeing the joint, and then we got 3 regular staff members in the office. That's somebody running the box office, someone kind of running our administrative side of things, and our technical director. And then under that, we have about 20 other people, technicians and front of house staff that will work depending on what's going on. So they'll staff our rentals, they'll staff our season shows, they'll work the box office, there'll be house managers, there'll be technicians, there'll be backstage.
They wear all sorts of hats.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and some of them do cross over. We like to take people who have an interest in being technicians. We'll let them kind of get their feet wet doing some assistant level kind of tech work, and then eventually we can bump them up to full technician. And so yeah, they really do make the place run as smoothly as it does, and we would be nowhere without our staff. So also similarly, we would be nowhere without our volunteers. We use them for all of our season shows as ushers, and our ushers range in age from 16 up to 96, and everywhere in between. And so it's a great way to get experience. It's a great way to kind of give back, but also kind of a perk of it is you get to see what we got going on at the theater. So they come in, they will hand out programs, take tickets, that kind of thing, help people to their seats, and then they get to watch the show. So we definitely use them in that capacity. Another huge volunteer thing that we do is during our youth theater program, Brea's Youth Theater. We do still do the volunteer usher positions, but we also have a lot of parents that come out and help backstage. They do committees, they do all the backstage supervision. They're the ones that plan the cast party. They all these volunteer parents and family members do everything for these kids. So when they come in, they're part of the program, but they also, there's a lot of work that needs to be done that isn't done by staff. So they plan all that, and they put a ton of hours and ton of effort into that, and so we're very grateful for that.
Yeah, I've seen the premieres.
Oh yeah,
they are.
Yeah, if you've been, we do the gala openings, and usually our shows are double cast. So there's two nights of galas where they'll do a silent auction outside. They'll do a red carpet. We'll get the Brea Trolley involved. Shout out to the Brea Senior Center for letting us use that. We'll put the kids on the trolley. They'll ride around the block, and they'll come out in costume and do a whole red carpet shindig and take some photos.
It's so cool.
And then there's food out there, and then they go do a show. So yeah, someone has to plan that, and we have some great volunteers doing that.
Very cool. Very cool. So focusing kind of on summer in this particular episode, it's not at the theater, but one of the things that you were kind of responsible for in during the summer is the Concerts in the Park series at City Hall Park. Talk to me about what goes into that program.
Yeah, so that the planning of that starts in about January. And we kind of go through our list of bands. We find bands in a variety of ways. There's an event that we go to sometimes called Concert Share, which is kind of a big meat market essentially for bands and agents. They'll set up a table, they'll let you listen to their demo, they'll give you some swag, and then if that's what you're looking for, then you could book them as part of your series. So we found a lot of our bands that way. And then a lot of them are just bands we've worked with over the years. A lot of them have, we booked them about 3 or 4 years ago. We try not to book a band in consecutive years just to give more opportunities to different bands. But we do have a lot of repeat groups every year, just because they come to us, they provide really high quality entertainment, and they often do it at a discount because we take care of them. So that is kind of something. That's cool. We build relationships that way. So we're always looking for new groups, and we try to keep the quality really high, but also try to keep it very diverse. Try to do something for everybody throughout the season or throughout the series of for Concerts in the Park. And so that's kind of the pre-planning in the early part of the year, and then there's the booking of that, getting all the contracts signed, and then the actual planning of the event, which is there's paperwork, and there's booking of audio companies, and there is getting the vendors out there, which we have some amazing vendors. We have North Hills Church. They come out there with their barbecue every year. And they do those tri-tip sandwiches that sometimes that's all they come to the park for.
I was going to say, you guys are doing a good job with these bands. Maybe it's the barbecue. I don't know. But,
it's probably a little 6 to 1, half a dozen.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. We also have the Brea Senior Center out there. Another shout out. They come out with their popcorn machine and sell popcorn and nachos and candy. And then we have a new vendor that's going to be selling ice cream out there, OC Ice Cream. It's like old school, ice cream van ice cream.
Oh, right on.
Pretty stoked about. But the kind of unique thing that we do is that all of our vendors are sponsors. They give back to the program. So there's a percentage of the proceeds that come back directly back to Concerts in the Park to help fund it.
Oh, great. Mm-hmm. That's very cool. Okay. So, coupled with, the Curtis Theater is the Curtis Theater, I should say, is what I would consider just a branch in the tree of art,
the art tree,
the art tree that the city of Brea it prides itself on.
Absolutely.
Recently, and leading right up until the pandemic, there was a major push for the Experience Brea Arts initiative to remind and to foster this remind its residents and surrounding residents and foster this this culture of art in the community. Talk about these other things. There's the Brea Art Gallery. and talk to us a little bit about that.
Sure. Yeah. Under the umbrella of the Experience Brea Arts, which is an initiative we started a few years ago, just to kind of boost the awareness of the arts in Brea. I mean, it's pretty pretty self-explanatory, but we are trying to brand Brea as a city of the arts. So this was getting this initiative, getting this kind of umbrella set up as part of that. As you mentioned, the art gallery is a big part of it. They're one of the big branches. They've existed as long as the Curtis Theater has. The gallery is on the first floor in the Civic and Cultural Center, and they do some amazing work over there. They do great exhibits. They're opening their Made in California exhibit, which is incredible. It's one of the most popular events that they do per year. It's they get about 4,500 submissions, and they have a committee that chooses about 1% of the submissions.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, they get some very, very high quality art over there, and very cutting edge. Like I go to quite a few museums, and the stuff over there, it rivals anything else out there. So if you're a fan of art, and you should be, check out the art gallery. Katie Chittister just took over as the art gallery director, and she's crushing it right now. This will be her first exhibit. Made in California is her first exhibit as a director, and yeah, they're just doing some incredible work over there. I'm super proud to be under the umbrella with them.
Very cool. Tree.
Oh, sorry,
tree.
We're going tree.
We're going to go with tree.
Tree. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Maybe it's an umbrella, the canopy of the tree.
The canopy. Yes, there you go.
sorry for the mixed metaphors.
And so that Made in California that opens this past weekend. It's open now.
Yeah, open now.
It opened on April 29th, and it closes June 23rd.
I think that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Closes
And
June.
Made in California, just to be clear, the requirement is that these residents must live in California.
Yeah.
So we still have 4,500
submissions. Yeah. I mean, California's a big state, I grant you, but that it's just all this art is coming from only artists that live in California, which is incredible. So it's great local connection as well.
That's awesome. That's so cool. Art in public places.
Art APP. Yeah, you know me.
Yeah, you know me. Sculptures all over town.
All over, yeah. So anyone that's driven through Brea has seen art on some of the most prominent corners and some of the lesser prominent corners, I guess. It's up to 189 sculptures in the city of Brea that are free to see. They're in public places. I think that's only requirement, is that it's there, that anyone can walk up and see it and appreciate it. 189, and it's been going on since 1975, when they one of the first ones that they installed was the Eagle sculpture. But what's cool is that, and I think one of the coolest things about this program is that it is kind of a model for the country. Like there's other countries or other cities in the country that will take this and adopt it, because it's basically there's if there's a development, then there's a certain amount of funds that have to be allocated to public art, and that's a good thing.
That's a great thing. Yeah.
So yeah.
Any chance to keep art alive?
Right. Yeah, and it's
sure.
Yeah. Art is definitely subjective, but by doing this and having this many opportunities for art and artists to display their art, there's a lot of chances for the public to appreciate it, and I think that's a very good thing.
No, definitely. Yeah. I think it was definitely not by accident that when they opened this building, like you said, in 1980, in the Curtis Theater, was completed with the rest of this campus, that they didn't name it the Civic Center.
Yeah.
They named it the Civic and Cultural Center.
Exactly.
And that obviously that was very there was definitely there was a lot of intent behind that.
I think that word is important, intent. Like they put the theater there. It was not an afterthought. It was a designed theater in this building. They put the gallery in there as a gallery space. There's very much a lot of intent behind the art in public places movement. So, yeah, I think there's precedent, and we're trying to keep that alive.
That's great. Let's talk a little bit more about special events this summer. We'll close it out that, we talked about concerts, and we talked about upcoming stuff in the gallery. Let's talk a little bit about stuff that people can attend and get involved with in the city that's going on.
Well, there's all kinds of stuff. We'll just kick it over to special events right now. Kristen Steyerman, who runs our special events department and the division in the community services department is just doing some amazing work. All kinds of great experiences and great events happening. The summer program is the family films that they're actually taking place at the Civic and Cultural Center this year because there's the improvements happening at Rio Vista Park. But it's a very cool thing. There's a screen that goes up, and then when it gets dark enough, they show a movie, and you bring a blanket and bring your chair, and there's usually some vendors out there selling some popcorn and things. And you come check out a movie with the family for free, which is great.
Awesome.
We also have the Country Fair, which happens on the 4th of July every year, which is at City Hall Park. That's a great, it's one of the truly Brea experiences as far as being kind of a hometown feel.
Sure.
So that's great. All kinds of contests and games and booths and food and vendors, you name it, and it's just a fun time out there. And then the big daddy is Brea Fest. Happens in August every year. It's the biggest event that we do as a department, and it's all in support of the arts. But we close off the street over here by the Civic and Culture Center. We have a series of bands playing on 3 different stages. There's the restaurants come out in full force and have it's kind of a taste of event where you can sample the delicacies of the local restaurants. We have craft vendors. We have beer trucks. We got it all. What do you want? We got it.
Sounds like you covered pretty much everything.
Yeah.
That I would.
What else could you possibly want?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that one's a great one, and we definitely look forward to that too. So everything kind of leads up to that in the summer. Like family films comes first, and then we do concerts in the park, and then our big final summer event is Brea Fest.
And that's Friday, August 11th this year.
Friday, August 11th this year. Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds like a ton to do.
So much.
With regards to the arts and special events. So
Yeah.
thank you for taking the time and cutting your vacation short.
For you, Dan, it's absolutely my pleasure.
I don't know about that. I don't know if I believe you, but you're such a nice guy. I feel like
You don't know. You don't know if I'm lying to you.
I don't. I don't. I'm sitting here wondering right now as we speak. Kris, appreciate it, man.
Of course.
Thank you. Well, there you have it. All of the programs, shows, exhibitions, and events can be found in your Brea Line newsletter, which is delivered to all residents and businesses within the city of Brea. If you'd like an interactive digital copy, you can view anywhere on any mobile device. Visit cityofbrea.net/BreaLine. That's a great way to browse all of these great programs with clickable links embedded right into the document that take you right where you need to go. It's really a great tool. That's it for this episode of Brea Talks. Please remember that this episode and all episodes of Brea Talks are available wherever you get your podcasts, as well as Brea's YouTube channel and airing on Brea TV. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, rate, and review, and we'll see you next time. I'm Dan Fenstermaker, and thanks for listening in as Brea Talks.